Good morning, y'all. Jonah in here, the Lionheart. Just wanted to take advantage of this once in every 10-year opportunity. Here in the South, you can see behind me, snow. Got about 5, 6 inches of snow here in Albany, Georgia. Ain't that wild? It's beautiful. It's amazing to wake up in the morning and see all of this here in Albany, Georgia. It's wild, but it's also beautiful. So just wanted to take advantage of the scene, sit down with y'all, and just kind of talk to y'all for a little bit about who I am, where I'm coming from, where I'm trying to go. So got my little coffee, keep me as warm as possible. Also decided to pull out a little smoke. It's a Perdomo Lot 23. It's the first time I'm gonna try this one. I am a fan of Perdomo, generally speaking. I enjoy their Habano cigars. Fortunately, I don't have any at the moment. So this Lot 23 will have to do. Again, I'm not up in New York, Michigan. I'm not up north right now. This is Albany, Georgia. This is South Georgia, y'all. 5, 6 inches of snow out here. It's not currently snowing. You might see some flakes falling. It's just sun's out, trees are moving, and snowflakes are falling off trees and things. Might get some on me because I'm under a little umbrella here, and a bunch of snow piled on top of that umbrella. So at some point that it might slide down, and I'm right under it, y'all. That'd be great for YouTube. Not bad. Perdomo, Lot 23. Not bad at all. All right. Where do we start? At the beginning. Jonan, born and raised in Miami, Florida. 39 years old so far. It's been a wild journey for me in my life. I spent many years in my early adulthood in the music business, in recording studios. I even got a chance to travel the States, do some touring with a couple bands, some artists. Met some extremely talented individuals. It was a lot of fun. I got some really good memories. I don't have kids of my own, but for the nieces and nephews, for sure, definitely got some cool stories for them. Excuse my hair, but it is what it is. All right. I'm more concerned about the snow than the way I look right now. I know I look crazy. So yeah, I spent a lot of time in the music business. Really believed for a good chunk of my life that giving some joy to the world was my purpose in life. And while I had a great time in the music business, while I really enjoyed learning the craft of audio engineering, of recording and mixing and all that kind of stuff, helping produce music, create music, while I enjoyed the individuals, the people that I met, the extremely talented musicians and just overall awesome people that I met, I never truly felt fulfilled in what I was doing. I kept chasing that project after project, song after song. I was chasing some sense of fulfillment that I expected to get, being that I believe this was my purpose. So if this was my purpose and I was living my purpose, then why not feeling fulfilled? But anyways, 15 years into that, life circumstances had me out looking for a temporary job and landed in, of all places, a pawn shop. But it was just a job for me at first. Upon getting the job, starting the job on day one, being told, hey, you're gonna need a firearm. You know, this is a pawn shop. This is the pawn business. We deal in firearms. We deal in jewelry, high-end stuff. You should have a firearm on your side. So I get my first pistol. Because I have such a healthy respect for firearms, I decided I'm not just gonna own a pistol and carry it. I'm gonna learn about the gun. I'm gonna learn how to use the gun, how to properly manipulate the firearm, the ins and outs, and found myself fascinated by that. How guns work, the fact that I'm holding this piece of metal in my hands and plastic. I'm a Glock boy, so a lot of polymer. Yay. I'm holding this piece of plastic and metal in my hand, and I'm setting off small controlled explosions in my hand, right? Shooting that projectile that, faster than the speed of sound. That's why you get that boom. It's an amazing and fascinating thing to me. Being the person that I am, I like to break things apart. Sometimes I can't put them back together, but I enjoy learning these things and how they work, and I got really into that world. But something that I found out real quickly though, or that I really started to understand really quickly, is the lack of education and training that exists in our world, especially in our bigger cities. How many of you all out there know about the training centers that exist in your area? You know where the bar is, you know where the liquor store is, but where do you go to learn how to actually use your and be proficient and be safe with your firearm? Such a dangerous tool. A tool nonetheless, but it is dangerous. So is a hammer, so is a saw. Just because you buy a hammer doesn't make, and some nails and a saw doesn't make you a carpenter, right? Just because you bought the gun doesn't make you safe. And so what I got into fairly quickly, getting into the firearm thing, was somebody needs to teach people, because so many people are walking into my shop to purchase a firearm for real reasons in our cities. Like where I'm at now, there's a lot of hunting that happens around this area, but in Miami, ain't a lot of hunting. You buy a firearm to protect yourself, not to go hunt something. But the problem is that just because you bought the gun doesn't mean you're safe. You got to know how to use that gun, but how to be safe with that firearm. If you're practicing at home, if you got a family, a burglar comes in at 3 o'clock in the morning, you don't just start firing that gun off inside your home. What about the kids? What about the people inside the house who aren't the burglars, right? So I took it upon myself to get trained, to learn, to educate myself, so that then I can educate others. Buy the gun, first step, but learn how to use it properly, right? I became a firearm instructor, in short. I actually became a certified firearm instructor through NRA, and began giving classes to people. But I took it very serious enough to talk safety. Safety is absolutely first, right? Those 4 or 5 rules of safety. Number one, first and foremost, the biggest rule in firearms is you treat every gun as if it's loaded. You put that gun down and turn around. I don't care if you know that you unloaded it 5 minutes ago. Check it. Just get into the habit of checking your firearm, making sure it's always loaded. Number one reason, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but the number one negligent discharge or accidental firing of a gun is when somebody's going to go clean the gun. They think it's empty. They pull the trigger to release the slide, and whoops, you just shot the wall, shot yourself, whatever it is. But that is the number one reason for accidental firings, is you thought the gun was empty. Don't think about it, just look at it, make sure that it is. Get into that habit. I'll make some other videos about this kind of stuff later on, but that is part of my journey. Part of what I'm trying to create here is eventually to get into that kind of content, right? Of educating, of training, of helping you learn. First and foremost, that guns by themselves aren't dangerous. It's how you use the gun. We shouldn't fear guns. We should respect them. There's a big difference between fear and respect. I'm not afraid of the gun, but I respect it. Respect it enough to treat it correctly and to handle it correctly, safely. But anyways, so that was a shift there that kind of quickly getting into the instructor, the first few classes that I took, and seeing the students' faces and how they would go, wow, oh, that's how you do that. Wow, yes, you're absolutely right. These bullets will fly right through drywall and through all the doors in my house. I need to be careful where I point that gun. You know, those type of things. I really started to feel that sense of fulfillment, like, this is really it right here. You know, joy is a wonderful thing, but we're not joyful all the time. Learning, educating, being safe, or as I now understand it, being prepared is really the key to life. If we could be happy all the time, that's awesome. You know, for those who know, if you live in God, if you live in Christ, you probably are feeling happier more than most. And that's awesome and that's amazing. But the reality is we live these lives out here in this world, we're not happy all the time. But if we're prepared, it doesn't matter. You know, kind of goes hand in hand with in the training, which I'll get to in a little bit, but, you know, discipline over motivation. I'm not always motivated. Matter of fact, I'm motivated less than I am. I'm motivated less every day. I wake up, I gotta run. Oh, Jesus, another run. It's snowing out. I'm gonna run in the snow? You're crazy. But discipline says, yes, you are crazy. Get up and get out there. Take that step, you know. So in the same way, right? I can't always be joyful, but I can't always be prepared. So as much as I was enjoying that business, because it wasn't just guns, by the way, watches. I know I'm wearing an Apple Watch right now, but watches and guns were my thing. Just automatic watches, the mechanics that go into these watches, the way they're built, hand polished, these tiny little pieces that are hand polished and put together to create something that is so close to perfectly accurate when it comes to counting time. Nothing very perfect. I know there's like atomic watches and all that kind of stuff that almost get it perfect, but you ain't God watch. You ain't perfect. um, Let me tell y'all something. Um, I know I'm barely getting started on the cigar, but so far so good. I think I still like my Habano a little bit better. A little bit more flavor in the Habano. Maybe it's just how cold it is. I can't I can't taste right now, but so far smooth and really good cigar. Perdomo, all my life in Miami, and I never had a Perdomo. I had my first Perdomo here in Albany, Georgia. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. But you make a fine cigar. You really do. As much as I enjoyed the pawn business, the firearm instructor, being a firearm instructor, and all that, my wife and I, a few years and a global pandemic later, made a decision to change our lives. That decision was to leave Miami, our place of birth, where our family and friends are, and decided to uproot ourselves and move over to, well, where we are now, Albany, Georgia. And the idea was slow down the pace of life. Not exactly the country, but close enough. Albany, I see it as a small city versus a town. A small town or a big town, it's a small city. Right? We have Walmart, we got a hospital, everything's here that we need, but still slow enough pace compared to what Miami was that made sense for us. So we made the change. Here we are. I now manage a furniture store, which is very, very different. But the values that I picked up in the pawn business, in the firearm world, I've carried over. So my mindset is still the same. But there is one thing that has stuck to me really more than anything else, and the one thing that really started to make sense to me as I was in that firearm instructor world, I'm teaching preparedness to people, but I'm not exactly prepared myself. Sure, I've developed a skill with the tool, probably more skillful than the, or not probably, I am more skillful than the average gun owner, but that doesn't mean that I'm prepared necessarily. There's much more, excuse me, there's much more to being prepared than the tool itself and the skill with the tool itself. Body, mind, and spirit. That's the journey I'm on right now, that I've started now. So making that change, kind of resetting myself with this new mindset, with this new clear vision for myself, I've endeavored in this journey. It's the journey to reset my mind, my body, and spirit. I've started with my body to build that discipline, the body which will strengthen my mind and spirit. The journey I'm calling the Lionheart right now, Jonah and the Lionheart, right? That's the name of this channel. That's the name of this journey. A challenge for myself, a challenge for you all, if you want to join me on it. But it's a name that I didn't give myself. If you don't know yet, if you haven't seen those other videos, especially that one with Chris, my buddy Chris, who's helping me develop these plans and this training guide and all this, even the mindset, he and I have some really cool conversations about preparedness and all that. But he's the one that the day we did our fitness test was like, John, I didn't expect you to actually finish this. The Lionheart. And that name kind of stuck, right? As a challenge to myself, can I really be the Lionheart? Can I really build this heart of a lion? And so here I am, endeavoring in this journey, the Lionheart journey. And what is it? I mean, again, it's mind, body, spirit. Yeah, but what does that mean? It means becoming the best version of myself. It means being a protector, being a doer. I mean, for so many years, I started so many different things, businesses, projects. I'm sorry, listen, my dog wants to move the camera. Charlie. So many things that I've started that I never finished. And so being a protector, prepared to protect, but being a doer, someone who actually gets things done, and being a leader. So my new role as a store manager, sales manager, is really teaching me what it means to be a leader of men, leader of people, to either support from behind or lead from the front. This quote is kind of stuck to me. It's an awesome book that I read. It says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." James Clear, Atomic Habits, an awesome book. If you haven't read it, read it. It's a really, really good book. What does that mean for me? Building systems to be successful. It means building habits. It just means building better habits for myself. And Atomic Habits has a really cool way to teach you how to, for one, to see your habits, whether good or bad, learn how to transform those and learn how to build better habits. And so that's part of my journey, right? Of creating that discipline is to build some better habits for myself. So why am I doing this though? I mean, again, for myself, for my wife, for my community, for all those around me, to be that protector, to be that doer, to be that leader, to be that man who stands firm when others falter. That's who I want to be, right? I want to be that guy who's prepared for anything, who's prepared for all occasions, prepared for any situation. Again, for myself, for my wife, for my dogs, for my community, for all those around me. I want to be ready for whatever life throws at us. That's who I want to be. That is my why in doing this. What's yours? What is your why? What is your purpose in life? Do you know it? Have you asked yourself that question? And if so, what are you doing about it? Watch me. Join my journey. Not just in watching my journey, but join me in my challenge. Can you build the heart of a lion? Why not? Let's make this a challenge. The Lion Heart Challenge. This is Jonah and the Lion Heart. But I'm asking you, are you ready to build the heart of a lion? Are you ready to join me? Follow, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. But do it for yourself. Don't do it for me. It's not about me, my channel. It's not about how many subscribers or how many views I'm getting. You do it for yourself. Can you build the heart of a lion? Can you be a lion heart? Can you be a protector? Can you be ready for any circumstance? Are you a doer? Can you be a leader? Join me. Now let's enjoy the snow.